I saw a video by Roxymarie a couple days ago, and she had been gifted Catlinite, which in my world is a very special gift to get, because Catlinite is very, very difficult to obtain. It is owned by Native peoples. The Sioux own this rights to the quarry, and they own the quarry, and it's very difficult to get. And so I thought I'd shoot a little video on Catlinite, things that I've made, and a couple things that friends have given to me. Now, what you see me holding here, excuse me, is a pipe that a good friend of mine made and gave to me. I gave him a big chunk of Catlinite that I had. He's a carver, and I thought if anybody would do justice to it, he would, and obviously he did a fabulous job with this wolf pipe. It's drilled all the way through, you know. It's a platform style pipe. And he also made me another gift, was this Tomahawk Necklace. And all the beads are made from pieces of Catlinite. So Roxy, here's some ideas for you. I also wanted to show some beads that I had made. Now these beads right here are Kaolinite beads that I had made several years ago, and I wore these a lot. That's why it has such a rich tone to it, is because the body oils absorb readily into the Catlinite, and it enhances and darkens it, and it makes it quite beautiful. Now you notice there's kind of two-tone here. That was a really nice piece that I had, because the upper portion of the stone was very light colored, almost orangish colored, and the rest was a burnt red color. So these are some real favorites that I made. This necklace here is a very, very special necklace. I made this after visiting the Rochester Museum and Science Center, and I saw several beads that were made by Native peoples look just like this. And I used the two-tone again. As you can see, this has got light and dark. And I made this necklace up, and boy, there's one lady that tried so hard to get this from me, and I wouldn't budge on it because, well, I'll never make another one like it again. This is like a butterfly banner stone, and I made all the beads. Everything you see here is made out of Catlinite or Minnesota pipestone. It's, you know, it's just so pretty, the material is. I don't know if it's even coming out on camera to give you the true beauty of the stone. This one's a little dried out. Needs to be beeswaxed again. Beeswaxing Catlinite really enhances the true color of it. You heat it up, and then you rub the beeswax in and wipe it off immediately. Of course, here's a pipe that I carried in my fur trade mountain man reenacting days. This is also Catlinite. It's a Micmac style pipe from up around the Maine area. I'm sure Dark Colmar will know what I'm talking about. This is a really nice smoking pipe. I don't smoke, but when I do reenacting, this is my pipe, and I like to put a little tobacco in there and puff away on it at the campfire. I made the bag, and here's a bunch of doodads. You know, these things are things you can make out of pieces of Catlinite. Here's a good example of the two-toned Catlinite. You can see the speckles in it. I really like to see that too. This bead is drilled all the way through, and it's a big, fat, heavy bead. And I don't know, I just made it one day, thought it'd be cool to make a big bead. Here's a ring that I can actually wear on my finger, if I can get it on with one hand here. See that? I probably wouldn't wear it because it is a little delicate. If I was to grip something in my hand against it, it probably would snap it and break it. But I made a ring regardless. Now, Catlinite was used quite often by Native peoples to make mascots. This is my little version of a Kaolinite Face. Pretty cool. Thin little piece of Catlinite. Just kind of scratched in some details of a face. It's not exactly what they would have done, but it's kind of a more modern white man's version of something that they did really well. Kind of another big bead, the two-tone again showing, and a disc. So as you can see, and one more thing, here's a tube pipe. Now these were made. It's kind of a Hopewell middle archaic transitional era, or not middle archaic, I would say maybe late archaic transitional era thing. They would put a marble or a stone down in there, and that would block off the end so that you could put your tobacco in there and smoke it. I didn't make the BB for it, but I could if I wanted to. This is just another example of carving a nice piece of Catlinite. You notice it takes a nice polish. That's all just hand rubbed. Final rubbing, I like to use a piece of leather to rub it after I beeswax it. Puts a great shine on it. And anyway, that's a real quick look at some of the things that I've had. Of course, this one here is the big piece. You've seen this before when I did a video on pipes. This is a Calumet Pipe. These were quite famous, being made out of Catlinite. This is very heavy. This stone is quite heavy. If you were to buy this by the pound, you would pay a lot of money, because this probably weighs 3 pounds. Believe it or not. It doesn't look it, but it's a very dense, heavy material. And that goes with this stem here. I was told by a native person that you never keep the two together to store it. You keep them apart and only put them together in ceremony or when you want to smoke it. So that's why I keep it apart, out of respect for their traditions. Anyway, here's a quick look. And Roxy, I hope this helps you out. Get some ideas for what you can do. Again, this is all Catlinite, and it's a wonderful stone to carve. All you need is a hacksaw to cut it, a box cutter or a flint flake. It doesn't matter what you use to carve it, and then a file, and then different grades of sandpaper, and finally some 4/0 steel wool, beeswax, and then leather. If you use those things, you can carve anything you see here. And good luck to anyone that uses Catlinite, because I think they'll enjoy the experience. Again, it's very dusty to work with. You're going to come in the house from covered in red dust. So try to do it in a well-ventilated area, and try not to breathe it in. I don't think breathing any kind of dust is good for you. So thanks for watching, and here's my look at Catlinite.